Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Living the Midlife Dream with me, Danielle Mauger. Thank you so much for being back here with me. This is part 2 of last week's episode where we talked about menopause, perimenopause. Today, we're going to get into HRT. Before we get into anything, though, I just want to preface this with the same way I did last week. I am not a doctor. I wish I were, but I am not a doctor. I'm not prescribing anything. I'm not giving any advice. I am simply sharing my journey through perimenopause and menopause and things that I've experienced in hopes that, it'll give you something to relate to and maybe some takeaways and things you can think about as well. So last week, we ended with me telling you a little bit about my journey into HRT. Where do I begin? I went to my doctor just for like a regular checkup, and this was in like 2022. Yeah, it was in 2022. And I don't, if this can be TMI, I'm sorry, but we're all women here and this is what we're talking about. So, anyway, I was in perimenopause and I was really experiencing like my periods were coming like every 2 weeks, really, really debilitating, like so heavy and terrible. And the cramps, the headaches, everything you can imagine was like really intensified. And it was, like I said, debilitating. So I just happened to have my 1-year checkup. I go to my doctor and I'm like, listen, I am struggling. I mean, I'm practically crying. I felt bloated. I was like, gaining weight, feeling like complete crap. And I'm like struggling telling her how bad it is. And I said, I really want to talk about HRT. I keep hearing about it. And I really what can you tell me? And she says, and she's a midlife woman herself. And she says, yeah, I know it's terrible, but yeah, we don't get into all that here. And I'm like, what? Oh, what do you mean you don't get into that here? And she's like, no, we don't prescribe hormone replacement therapy. That's not something that we do. I said, really? Like, this is the gynecologist's office. And she's like, yeah, no. The best thing, it's a horrible thing, but you'll make it through. And I wanted to cry. I may have cried, but she was like, listen, if your periods are this bad, just go on the birth control pill. And I had been on the pill most of my adult life. And then I went off of it because there was so much like controversy and research coming out just basically saying how bad it was for us. So I'm like, I'm going to get off of it. And, going through perimenopause. And then this happens. And I was so desperate. I'm just keeping it real here. I was just so desperate. I was like, fine, give it to me. I'll take it. So I took it and it definitely relieved all of those symptoms. And that was, I think that was in August. And then by February, I was like stupidly thinking, woohoo, I'm done with this. So you know what? I don't need this pill anymore. So I went off the pill and, lo and behold, all the symptoms come right back. But actually, I then went to a doctor that I found locally that's a functional medicine doctor. She practiced gynecology and she supposedly specialized in HRT. So I make an appointment with her. I get on the HRT and a couple of things. Sometimes this is a little embarrassing for me to say because I don't generally think I'm a naive person. I think, I have really good intuition, gut feelings, but what can I say? Desperate times call for desperate measures. So I go to this doctor and she puts me on this HRT cream, bioidenticals. Okay, cool. I would put it on my forearm and then rub it in on the other forearm every night, and I start feeling really good. My hot flashes are gone. She also did something with my thyroid medication, so I'm feeling good with that, and I'm losing weight. I'm feeling great. I was on that for like a year, and then all of a sudden, I I had like the tiniest bit of like spotting, and I'm thinking, what is this? So I called my doctor and I was actually due for a checkup again. Now, I did not go to the same doctor that prescribed the medication. She's a functional medicine doctor, and I just went to her to get on hormone replacement therapy. I went back to my gynecologist for my regular checkup. I go there, and this is the doctor that I kind of ended the last episode with. And they're just like, yeah, we need to do a biopsy here. This is not normal. you haven't had your period, you're in menopause or you're postmenopausal, and we need to do a biopsy. And they couldn't do it in the office. So I had to go to the hospital, do the whole rigmarole, be put under, do the biopsy. Turns out everything was fine. But he was like, you could do the patch. We don't know what this is in this, bottle that this woman gave you, these creams. Because she's a functional medicine doctor, he was putting her down. And he's like, we can put you on the patch. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do the patch. So I do the patch. First, I should back up and say that when I went on the HRT with this functional medicine doctor, she at one point, like at first I wasn't seeing a difference after like 3 months. And she's like, oh, you can do another click. And the click, it means like the application that it comes in, the little canister, you at the bottom of it, click once, like counterclockwise, and the tiniest bit, like your little dosage pops up at the top. So she was like, oh, you can click again. And just keep clicking until it starts. I'm like, just keep clicking. Like there's estrogen in it. It's like, it's okay for me to just keep getting all this estrogen. It's just like a horror story, So that is basically what had happened was I was getting so much estrogen that it really thickened my uterine lining. And that's what had caused the bleeding. So sorry for the TMI, but that's that. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with her, go to my regular doctor. He says, we'll put you on the estrogen stuff. Okay. So I did the estrogen patch. Again, I was on so much. Well, it was estrogen and progesterone. So much that my God, this just happened last June. Kevin and I go out to a really nice dinner down at the shore. I am wearing all white and I am in the coolest white pants and a white top. And I can hear every single one of you right now going, no, because what I'm going to say. I don't know what guardian angel I had with me that day, but we go out to dinner, we come home, and I got like the worst period of my entire life. I don't know how it didn't go through the white jeans by the grace of God, because, oh my God, how embarrassing, right? And then I broke out all over on my chin. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I gained 3 pounds in 1 week. So all of this, I'm like, I'm done. I'd rather be hot. I'd rather sweat bullets, and I'm done with all this stuff. So I stopped everything last June and just like completely calmed down. I had gone to, just because I couldn't deal with it. It was like, I'm taking this thing over here and it's making my uterine lining grow. I'm taking this patch and it's giving me my period. I had a, breaking out on my face. It's just like, what? We just be? Why do we have to go through so much? So I'm like, I'm done. I went through the whole summer with severe hot flashes. When I tell you, like, if you ever go out to dinner with me or if we're ever together and you see me just sitting, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm like sitting, just staring into space with this half smile. I'm sweating bullets. So I do get hot flashes a lot still. They have definitely decreased since the summer. They were really bad. At the end of the summer, a friend of mine told me about a place that she went to locally. I went there and I just didn't like the vibe. I feel like sometimes, everybody's jumping on the train here of like wellness places and, handing out and giving HRT. I don't know. I think it should be coming from a doctor and someone that really knows what the freak they're talking about. So if anyone has a functional doctor that they absolutely love, please, please, please send them my way. Otherwise, I'm good. I'm just like, you know what? I'd rather just be hot. But I know that I'm suffering and I probably don't need to be. So I'm not saying at all that this is what you should be doing. I'm just saying this is what I'm experiencing right now at 51 years old. It's really been a ride. Let me tell you. I don't know how much longer. I've heard that you can be like having these symptoms for 10 years. So, I don't know. I think I probably have another 5 years of this. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, okay, let's get into HRT just a little bit more for anybody that's considering it. Because I don't want to be scaring you off and saying, I know so many people that use it and have had so much success with it. I just personally have not. I would love to. I would love to have success with it, but I don't know what I'm waiting for. I guess I'm just a little bit scared after the past two experiences, if I'm being honest. So back in the early 2000s, there was like this panic of like HRT is going to kill you. But you know, we didn't know about that then. We were in our 20s and we were footloose and fancy free, if that's what the saying is. Like, I didn't even think about menopausal women at that time. But you know, decades later, it was like they came back and said, "Ooh, our bad. Like, it's actually good for you, and it actually helps." So the latest research shows that HRT can be like a complete game changer, especially for women who started early in menopause. And I thought that's what I was doing by getting in there right at the start of things. But I don't know. I haven't had the best luck with it. But it supposedly can help with hot flashes and protects against osteoporosis and may even have some cognitive benefits. That said, it is not a one-size-fits-all solution, as I just gave the example of myself. Some women can't take it. I know, people that have experienced breast cancer, I don't believe that they are. But again, don't quote me on that because, like I said, I am not a doctor. But I know that some women can take it and others, just don't want to. So I think like the key is to find a doctor that actually understands menopause and knows exactly what to test for, what to do, and how to prescribe the right dosage for you. I think this can be really hard to find. And I think probably the best resource is to ask your friends. Start there. Like, those are the people that you trust. And I would start by asking friends who they go to if they've had good experience with someone, then that would be where I would start. And now that I say that, I don't know why I haven't started there. I just crack myself up. Okay, anyway. I think, though, that one of the misconceptions is that you start taking HRT and you magically, lose weight and look like you're 29 again. And that is absolutely not how it works. I think the whole point of HRT is it's a replacement therapy. You're supposed to just kind of be replacing what you've lost going through perimenopause and menopause. So it's not like you're taking, this therapy and then all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh my God, I look amazing. I look like I'm 29 again. That's not happening. That's called plastic surgery. That's completely different. So that's my take on HRT. I would start researching. There's so many resources. This article that I referenced at the beginning of the last episode, which was in the New Yorker, and I did put it in the show notes, so I would go back and check that. There's 3 books in there, and there's so many podcasts, there's so many books and YouTube videos. There's so much out there, I think, that you can find so much research on HRT. So I would start with asking your friends what their experience has been. Ask them if they have a doctor that they would recommend, and then just start doing your research on it. But if you're not having like serious symptoms, I don't know. I would love to do it though for the hot flashes. That's probably my only complaint, to be honest, at this point, but that's me. All right. So what can we do about this? This is my favorite topic we're getting into now. Now we're talking, ladies. Food, movement, sleep. These are my things. So where to begin? They say that, I think I've already touched on this, but like that you can feel so much better when you work out and eat the right foods, which I do that all the time. And I do feel great. I just feel great and I'm sweating. So anyway, the good news is there are things you can do to feel better, but the bad news is you're going to need to have a little bit of discipline if you don't have that already. So you want to focus on a few things. And I think that we as women, historically, we tend to overcomplicate things. And we definitely overcomplicate when it comes to working out and eating. I am telling you, basics. That is where it's at, the basics. I have so many women that text me or DM me on the daily. Can you please tell me what to eat? Now, how do you do this? Now, what are you eating? Where are you getting your recipes? It's like, listen, you know how to eat. We know what to do. You just have to have a little bit of discipline. We know that we are supposed to be focusing on protein, right? So start with the basics. Let's start with just protein. I think women probably do not get the protein that that you should be getting. I can put a macro calculator. I'll put that in the show notes, actually. Let me write that down so that I don't forget. Okay, so I'll put the macro calculator in there, and you can just focus on, if nothing else, focus on getting your protein in. So you are going to take, let's just say you weigh 150 pounds. I want you to get 150 grams of protein in daily. So you're going to do 1 gram per pound. Don't worry about, I want to lose weight and it says that I should use my goal weight. Don't worry about all that stuff, please. Just worry about how much you weigh right now. And we're going to, because then you're starting to go down a road of details and complications. Keep everything, it's simple, you guys. I'm telling you. If you focus on your protein and then eat that first, or at least eat half of that first. So protein is very satiating. So I want you to start there, and then you can start to eat the rest of your food, your carbs, your little bit of healthy fats, your fiber that you're going to find in those veggies, which are your carbs. So I want you to focus on protein, and you're going to start doing your strength training. I could do an entire episode on this, and I think I did, but I could talk about it all day long. Strength training, and I want you to focus on progressive overload. So if you did not listen to, I think it might have been, I don't know, it might be episodes 2 and 3, maybe 1 and 2, 2 and 3. I think it's 2 and 3. Go back to that. It's building the perfect midlife workout routine, wellness routine. So we're focusing on protein. We're focusing on strength training. And, if let's just say you're brand new, I'll give 2 scenarios. One is you're brand new. I want you to do 2 to 3 days a week and use some dumbbells in your home. So when I say strength training, it doesn't mean you don't have to have this visual of somebody taking a barbell and chucking it up over your head. I did reference this in one of those episodes where I had a friend that said to me, I don't really agree with everything that you post about lifting heavy. I have a friend that she doesn't know what she's doing. And if she walked into a gym and had to pick up a barbell, she wouldn't know what to do. And I just said to her, but I've never said she had to go do that. Strength training just means you're lifting weights. You could use bands. You can use your body weight. It's all strength. So start where you are with what you have. And then each week you will progressively add to your muscle growth by, upping your reps or upping the weight that you're using. If you're a more seasoned professional, shall we say, you're not a professional, but you know what I'm saying. If you're a more seasoned lifter, you want to try to get 4 to 5 times a week. And it's still, you could do everything with dumbbells. You don't have to go to a gym, but it's fun. I love it. I love the smell of a gym. I don't know. There's something about it. I love the machines. I find that I get a much better workout with the machines and the barbells and all that stuff. And it's fun. I enjoy it. But if you're not like me, you can do everything at home, whether you have a full home gym or you just have some dumbbells. If you have any questions on that, please ask me. But this is how we're going to change our bodies in midlife. And I'm telling you, this is exactly what I did. When I turned 50 last November, I was probably in the worst shape of my life. Well, I shouldn't say of my life, but I was in bad shape, man. I was down in the dumps. And like I said before, my body composition was completely off. And I had been doing, when I was leading up to that, probably the year leading up to that, I'm okay, I got to go hard. I got to go hard. I got to go hard. And then I was completely overdoing it. Nothing at all was working. In fact, I would be gaining weight instead of losing weight. I was restricting my calories and going hard. And now, of course, I know that doesn't work. And then on the other extreme, the next week I would be maybe I should just do yoga and Pilates and nothing else. So I did a month of just Pilates. I don't know what I was thinking. I was desperate is what I was thinking. So I just think, I ended up getting a coach myself, and I did from November. I started the Monday of the week of Thanksgiving. And I was committed. I was that's it, because, nothing else works. So I have nothing to lose. I hired a real professional, awesome coach. And I went through from November until May, a true strength training program and macros where I tracked, and it completely changed my body and my mindset. It's been the greatest thing for me. It's not that obviously, I've always worked out. I owned a fitness studio. I've been a fitness instructor for well over a decade at this point. But I don't know, something happened in menopause and I just needed someone with the experience of what I was going through to be able to say to me, all right, listen, this is what works. Trust me, listen to me and do as I say. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. And I'm telling you, it really, really worked. I'm thinking about possibly implementing some kind of little program for everyone here, but gosh, we'll see. All right. So anyway, strength train, protein. If you want to track your macros, I will put a link to a free, like an online macro calculator, and I would start there. So, and then, once you start doing your protein, then you can add in the carbs, the fats. And the thing with us women, I think, is that we generally don't eat enough. We're so conditioned, especially our generation, to be like, I've got to restrict. I'm not allowed to have that. And that's part of the problem. Like your body is just like holding on to everything because it's afraid it's not getting enough food. So sometimes, you're going to get to eat a lot more food than you're eating right now. Doesn't mean like the Cheetos and stuff, but this is a whole other conversation we don't need to get into. So anyway, I would just want to say that my body composition completely changed when I really focused my workouts on strength training. I strength train now 5 times a week, but when I first started that program, I did 4 times a week and I saw great changes. Now I do 5 just because I just love it so much, but you don't need to do 5 days a week. You don't. You can get away with 3 to 4, I think, and make some great changes. Okay, so we've got the protein, the strength training, the macros. You're going to focus on getting some more fiber. That is another thing that women don't focus enough on is their fiber. And I track that in my, I use My Macros Plus. It's a free tracker on my phone when I'm doing my macros, and I do track my my fiber, and I try to hit at least 25 grams, 25 to 30 is what I'm trying to hit. It's hard, it can be hard, but it's good for us. So focus on that. And then lastly, your sleep. We go to sleep pretty early around here, and I like it that way. I also get up early, but I'm not going to get into all that because I did touch on that in my episode about the wellness routine. But I would keep our bedroom here at not now in the winter, but in the summer, I would turn it down to 63 degrees. And I would do it when Kevin was in the bathroom brushing his teeth so that he wouldn't notice because I didn't want to hear it from him. It's like, you know what, dude, you have no idea. I'm sweating bullets every night. It's like, he would then be, it's so funny because I would wake up in the middle of the night, look over, he's like under all the blankets, the comforter, it's like up to all you can see is the top of his head. And I'm laying on top of the comforter in just a tank top and I'm sweating bullets. So I don't know. I feel like that's okay. You're allowed to be cold because I'm hot over here. So you can be a little bit cold. But I do think sleep is important. And I do think that turning the temp in your room down tiny bit. Maybe you don't have to go to the extreme of 63 degrees, but having a nice, cool, dark room. And I swear by my magnesium. I just started taking this incredible magnesium that I will also put in the show notes. I'm telling you what, it gives the most restful night of sleep. I do not wake up at all. And, I'm still getting hot flashes, but they're not waking me up anymore. So it's like I can deal with them during the day. It was like I just need to be able to sleep through the night. So that has been extremely helpful. And while talking about supplements, I just want to say this. I tried so many things. I was so desperate. If I saw any, commercial or ad on social media about take this and your hot flashes are gone, it's like, okay, done. Give me a month's supply. I tried so many things, so much so that we were having our kitchen redone here. And when I opened my pantry doors, I had the one pantry door custom made to hold all of my supplements. I'm not kidding. I'll have to put a picture of it on Instagram. I don't actually take that many supplements anymore, but I can give you the rundown of what I do. And it is my Armor Colostrum, which I can't live without, my creatine, magnesium that I just talked about, vitamin D, vitamin B, and my fish oil. And I do a macular health, but that's just because my eye doctor told me I needed to. But I really pared it down. So I just want to say, don't fall for any of these ads that you're seeing that are telling you any supplement is going to take your hot flashes away, because I don't believe it at all. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'll put that in the show notes too, though, just a list of what I'm taking now, what I've pared it down to in the past year, and I'm feeling really good on it. And that's about it. I think that, in midlife, we're doing the best we can. And I think that all we can do is our best. I mean, you want to get your movement in, you want to eat healthy, you want to socialize and hang out with your friends and family, and just be so grateful that we get to be alive at this point. We get to experience all of this. It's not going to last forever. Everything's going to even out. We're going to feel amazing. I think menopause is quite a journey, and I hope it helps you to know that you're not alone. All of us are going through it too. And I think we just need to normalize talking about it more and talking about our experiences, not comparing the experiences, but more just like sharing and, knowledge is power. So more power to the woman. Somebody wrote that on my Instagram last week and I loved it. She wrote power to the woman. I was like, yes, power to the woman. So anyway, if you're in the trenches, remember that you are not alone. Your symptoms are real and there are solutions, I promise. And if no one has told you this yet today, you are amazing. You are beautiful. You are a strong woman. You are capable of anything. You are especially capable of getting through menopause. So thank you so much for listening. Please rate this, review it. Please share it with your friends, anybody that you think would benefit from this. And you guys, I will talk to you next Monday.